Hi my honeys, Erica here. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I have a special guest here on the phone with me, my dad. Here's the thing, we filmed an intro while he was here when we did this beautiful slat wall together, but we accidentally deleted the footage. So here we are, me and Dad on the phone together. We're gonna bring you this amazing tutorial that we've done. And Dad, I feel like you would say your biggest takeaway from the project is A, you're never doing slats again, and B, measure, right?
Yeah, it's difficult because you've got to line up a little bit of space across a long distance. So you need to make sure that your spacers are the right width too, that they don't just say that they're an eighth or 3/4 or whatever you're using for a spacer, that you measure and it actually is that space. Otherwise, you're going to be off at the end.
Right. Check your measurements 8,000 times. Make sure all of your wood is actually the correct measurement as well, and it'll make it a lot easier for you. I just want to say, Dad, I stare at this every day. I'm so appreciative that you did this for me, and also loved the fact that we got to spend time together. So I just want to say thank you so much for doing this with me.
Not a problem, and I can get back to fishing after this.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, if you guys are interested in checking out our beautiful slat wall fireplace project, the tutorial is all here for you guys. I've outlined everything so you can recreate this in your own home. Give me a follow here, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment down below. Make sure you like this video as well. Yeah, leave my dad some love so, you know, he can enjoy the spoils of his labor. Thanks, Dad. Love you.
Love you too.
All right, bye. Let's start with the supplies. Here's a list of everything you're going to need for this project. If you want to pause the video right here and take a screenshot or write everything down that you're going to need, that would be your best bet. I did want to mention the 1x2x8s that we used for the slats on the wall. We used the Select Pine boards from Home Depot because I was staining them and not painting them. You could go cheaper on this and use the common boards for this if you are painting. So just you can save some money there. Just wanted to give you that tip. Let's start with the project now. The first thing you want to do with any project is draw up a plan and figure out your math ahead of time. I promise this will make you way less crazy throughout the project if you figure it out in advance. Here are my measurements in case you have a wall big enough to accommodate an 80.25 inch wide fireplace installation. Here's our exact measurements, everything we did. Our TV's on there, our fireplace width is on there as well. And then we calculated that we needed 43 slats, each 1.5 inches wide, spaced 3/8 inches apart. And then on the side, we did 3 slats 7/8 inches apart. Once you've drawn up your plan with all the measurements, determine how many of the slats you're going to need for the project. It's going to be different for you. We ended up needing 43. We used the Select Pine, like I mentioned before, from Home Depot. It was about $3.81 a strip, but like I said, you could go cheaper on the wood if you are painting. We are staining, so we wanted the wood to be a bit higher of a quality. Here are the boards all stacked up in my living room. We had a lot to pre-stain. Here's the thing about pre-staining all the boards. You obviously don't want to put them up wet, and then when you have them in your house, I mean, stain smells like straight up oil. We used the Minwax Golden Oak stain on the boards, and we did 43 of the slats. I think we pre-stained about half of the boards and then stained the rest like kind of on the fly, but made sure we let them dry outside. Here we are lining them up outside. I highly recommend you use a tarp. Put a tarp down on your lawn and just get like a buddy system. Grab like 1, 2, 3 or more people to help you with this project. More the merrier, honestly. We used the lint-free cloths to stain it, and they came out pretty well, I think so. Is that Obi-Wan Ryobi I see?
Oh yeah, that's it.
Did you just pull the dad move where you're like, hey, I'm gonna be there at 3, but you got here at 2?
No, I miscounted.
Oh, okay.
I was counting.
So the next step is you want to take everything off the wall, including your existing TV, to get started on the project. It does also help to tape out all the measurements in advance. Just gives you a guideline of where things are gonna go. And the TV is officially off the wall. Took them a minute because it was not wanting to come off. That Samsung frame TV wall mount is no joke. It was really on there. So, yep, there's the fireplace there, all the wood, and we're gonna get started soon. Step 5, you want to cut your 1x6s to the width of your slat wall and make sure you screw them into the studs. We used the Study Buddy to find all the studs so that we could have them drilled into the studs every single time. Okay, so we got the first board up, and then as you can see, we've drawn the line so that the next board's down. We're gonna do about 6, but we're definitely gonna put the bottom one on next. And we just need to make sure we line it up with this edge that we've drawn out, and then you're about to draw the other line then, right, Dad, on the other side?
That way everything's level and square.
Yep.
So you don't have a leaning tower of fireplace.
Exactly. So I'll keep you guys updated. Here's an update. We have all of the cross pieces up that we're gonna put up, and then we're gonna put a whole bunch of 2x4s going vertically across to start building our jut out false wall. And we kind of mapped out, if you can kind of see the pencil, that's the fireplace. So we're on a roll now. Step 6 is just adding 2x4s on top of all your 1x6s. We're building out depth now to accommodate the fireplace insert. Here's the progress update. We now have 2 layers, as we're calling them, of the boards. We've got the 1x6s, and then we have 2x4s on top of it running across. Now we're about to build our next layer with these blocks. That gives us an extra, what is this, 1.5? Inch and a half. And then on top of that will be a full 2x4 again, and then the plywood. So we'll have a total thickness of about 6.5. Yeah, 6.25. The next step is adding 2 more layers on top of your existing 2. We did this with 2x4 blocks, followed by another layer of 2x4s. This is gonna get us to 1/4 inch shy of the depth we're gonna need for the fireplace. And then obviously once we put the plywood, that's 1/4 inch on top. That'll make it the perfect depth we need to accommodate the fireplace. Here is what it's looking like. This is with 2 layers. So we need to come out a little over 6 inches. So we have 2 layers on, and we need to add 2 more on top of this. But this is kind of like how you're building out the front of the wall. Just want you to know that we did have to add a couple of layers of wood to support the bottom, top, and sides of the fireplace. It's like building a shelf for your fireplace. We decided to put the fireplace 18 inches up from the wall. So we've got the fireplace temporarily set in there. We had to plug it in to test it out to make sure it looked amazing, which it does. There's gonna be logs in the front there. And then we have the faceplate that still has to go on as well, but we're just working on mounting the fireplace. We're building a frame around it to mount to it.
Here.
Yep.
And then another 2x4, and this will screw right into that, and it'll be solid.
Yep. And then we have all the frame built out at this point. All right, you guys, we'll check in later. At this point, we knew we were gonna need to add some support pieces throughout the width of the faux wall vertically, so we had something for the plywood to screw into across the wall. We also had to figure out our cord situation. I highly recommend you do this way in advance before you close up the wall, because you wanna make sure that you don't have any cords where they're not supposed to be. We are gonna use a surge protector out the side of the fireplace, and that is going to accommodate our cable box and all that we're gonna put in a basket outside of the fireplace. And then we also have an outlet that's gonna go behind the TV where we can also plug in the fireplace. And it took a little figuring out. We measured and cut our 2 sides of the plywood that we needed to cover the front of our faux wall. They kind of look like little lowercase letter E's, and we also had to stain these pieces. Here's what they look like with the stain. I'll be honest, plywood does not look amazing with the stain, but since it's going to be behind slats, it really didn't matter if it was perfect or not. So the next step, we needed to add an extra cross piece to support a small little cutout we're gonna make behind the TV, so we have access to the outlet just in case we need to ever unplug the fireplace if it breaks or something like that. And then we use a long piece of yarn and kind of rigged this system inside the faux wall so that we knew once we put the fireplace in, we could tie one end to the plug and then still be able to pull it up through the wall and plug it in behind the TV. Do not close up your wall until you have your cords figured out. Okay, so we've worked out a little contraption. We ended up having to put an extra cross piece here because we're going to leave a hole so that we can have access to this outlet. The reason being is because what if the fireplace breaks? You want to be able to unplug it, and the cord is attached to the back of the fireplace. So we have to make sure we have access to this cord if we ever wanted to remove the fireplace. So what we've done is we've rigged some extra craft yarn that I have, and we have it coming out of the hole where the fireplace is gonna go, and then over the top where this hole is gonna be. And then when we're ready to put the fireplace in, all we do is attach one end to the fireplace cord, and then we'll be able to pull it up and through and plug it in even when this front plate is put on. Hopefully that explains things. On the left side of the fireplace wall, my dad used a jigsaw to cut out a small square from the plywood before we closed it up so that we would have access to the outlet there. You could reach your hand in and plug it and unplug it. Okay, we got both sides of the fireplace up. We have the hole cut out for the power outlet to be able to plug in the fireplace. And now it's slat time?
Yes.
Slat time. Step 12 is you want to cut your slats and grab your favorite nail gun and start spacing them out using your level as you go and nailing them to the wall.
So one of the things you want to do when you're putting slats up, obviously you're putting a level on the end as you're working, but every so often you want to go and put your level on the slats and make sure that you're level top and bottom, which we are here, so that you know as you're going down the rows you're getting even spaces and you're going to end up with an even amount in the middle. If you start teetering left or right, you're going to get a
crooked
piece at the end. So always use the level.
Now it's time to put in your fireplace and pull that cord up and plug it in. Now it's time to put the TV on the wall. We mounted our TV directly to the slats, and you can see my dad here making sure it's nice and level, and we made sure we had the exact center point. For the sides of the fireplace wall, we just repeated the process. We added plywood and 3 slats on each side. And here's some helpful tips for you guys. You can pause and read them as well. Check out the finished product.